And so that's what I want you to go in there and do. You got to be able to walk away, even if you do need the money, even if you do need the job. You got to have the confidence to walk in there, let them know why you're the best fit. And if you're not hired, you got to know that that's their loss and not yours. Well, I didn't plan on making this video right now. I'm a little sick. My voice sounds a little funny. I came out by the water today. I still don't even know if I'm gonna shoot this video. It's 2023. A lot of people out there are gonna be thinking about switching career fields, getting a new job, maybe finding something new, you know, new year, new me type thing going on. And I kind of wanted to give a couple tips on how you can go about switching career fields. If the career field you're in currently isn't working out for you, there's other ways you can go about getting a new career, and not all of them have to deal with going back to college again and getting more in debt. So that's kind of what I wanted to touch up on today. So one of the first things I want to talk about is, instead of doing resumes and applications all the time, you might want to get familiar with the network you already currently have. A lot of times people already know people that are working in the industry that they want to work in. And so touching base with some of those people, maybe kind of like striking up conversations with some of those relationships that maybe you haven't talked to in a long time, sometimes that can help you out a lot. And yeah, it may be true that they might not be able to get you the job. They might not be able to get you hired, but they can definitely give you a couple of tips and tricks, let you know what they're looking for when they do the hiring process. They might let you know like kind of the inside, like the background stuff that's going on the back end. Let you know what this supervisor is looking for. They're looking for this type of person. These are the types of problems we've had in the past with our past workers that quit on us. So touching base with someone that's in your network to kind of get the feel for the environment that you want to get into. If you know multiple people in the same career field, maybe touch base with all of them. Every workforce is its own culture, you know. Some might be strict, some might be a little more laid back, and depending on what you're looking for in your new career journey might help you determine which side or which angle you want to head towards. And so talking to different people in the same industry is a great way to start off. Sometimes they're not going to be able to get you like actually the job, you know, and if you're very fortunate enough, they might be able to talk to the supervisor and put in a good word for you, and then you'll be hired on the spot, you know. I wouldn't 100% count on that, but that's awesome. Like, just take it as a bonus if that ever does happen. But what they can do is just give you the insight to kind of help you maneuver your way in. They could probably put in a good word for you, but at the end, it's going to be up to you and your interview process and your application and resume to ultimately get the job. So rely on yourself for sure. Okay, so the next tip I have is do your homework. Definitely do your homework on the company you decide you want to work for. Okay, so you've already kind of went through your network, or you've done your homework already and figured out what company you kind of want to be a part of. The next part of this is do your homework on this company. Remember, you're switching career fields. You're going from career field A and you're trying to jump into career field B, which has nothing to do with whatever your industry you're working in right now. So you don't yet have the experience you need for that job. And somehow you got to find a way to convince them that even though you don't have the experience, you definitely have the capability to gain that experience. And sometimes they might be hiring on experience only, but you might be able to convince them, or at least show them, that you have the capability to do that job, because they might be hiring for the capability of doing that job, and knowing like experience, that's going to come in time. Like 3, 4, 5, 6 months in, you're going to get the experience no matter what. But there are some people that you can't teach no matter what. Like certain people and mindsets, you can't that can't be taught. Sometimes you just got to come already with it. And when they find that person that comes with it, that's who they're going to hire, because the training, that stuff's going to come with time. But there might be certain capabilities that you're aware of in yourself that you can bring to this job interview. And part of doing the homework too is learning what they're hiring for. I don't mean position wise, but like when we're just talking about the capabilities, learn what type of capabilities they're hiring for. Okay, so this is a little hack for that. You can go on Google, search up whatever career field you're looking for, or look up a company, like look up the actual company of somebody who's hiring for that. There's usually going to be some message boards or some threads out there where people are usually talking back and forth, responding to one another, saying, hey, I got an interview for this. Hey, what kind of questions should I expect on the interview? Definitely go check out these threads so you can get an insight of what type of questions they were asking during the interview process. Also, if you're able to get insight on like the behind the scenes, figure out what type of worker they're looking for. Figure out what makes a great worker in that industry that you're looking to get hired in. Figure out what makes a great worker for that, and then also start planning all your responses, because you're planning on going on an interview, so plan all your responses based on what makes that great worker. You're gonna make kind of like an archetype, like kind of like if you were to create an imaginary worker that is everything this company is looking for, you need to model that. And you're going to want to plan all your responses so that way they can see that you have the capabilities, the traits, and the can-do attitude to pursue this career. And every trait that you show them that you have, it all fits into the perfect worker that they're looking for. Next up is you're going to want to find ties from your current or old job to the new job that you're applying for. You're going to want to connect the dots for the new employer that you want to get hired with. Connect the dots so that way they don't have to think. You don't want them to have to try to piece together the pieces of the puzzle on how you're a good fit for this company with no experience. You want to show them already the evidence that you are the perfect fit. You want to have them do as little thinking as possible so that all they have to do is say yes. You're going to remove all their boundaries. You want to make sure that you can remove all their rebuttals, because they're already coming in this interview process thinking, I'm looking for a reason to not hire this person. And when you can get rid of all of those reasons one by one, they'll have no reason else but to say yes if you're the perfect fit. It's their job to weed out the people that aren't a good fit for their company, that people that aren't going to help the company grow, aren't going to help the company get to where it needs to be in the future. So they're on alert for this, and they've hired people that didn't work out and they know what to look for. So it's your job to make sure that right off the bat, you've done your research and you come into this connecting the dots from your old job position to this new job position, showing them how your old job or your last job, and all, not just your last one, like not just your most recent one, all the other jobs you've had before, you're trying to show them how all of those jobs combined have prepared you for this new job that you're embarking on, or this new position that you're embarking on. So you're gonna want to take all the guesswork out of it for the new employer that's looking to hire you. You don't want them to put together the pieces of the puzzle. That's your job. What they should do is listen to your responses, and they should naturally come to an aha moment when they realize, oh wow, this is the person that I should actually hire. And on a side note, it'll also kind of like psychologically kind of help them feel like, oh wow, it was me that connected the dots, so this new employer is already coming in like, wow, I feel good. I discovered this person. I found them. I connected the dots on how their old job translates to this new field. So they're going to want to bring you in, they're going to want to bring you in and showcase how, yeah, you're not from this field. Yeah, you don't have experience, but that they discovered someone with the capabilities to do the job and fill the position they're looking for. Okay, next one up is what makes you unique? You've been in the workforce for a few years now, probably all your life, depending on how old you are watching this. What makes you unique? you already come to the table with years of work experience. You already know what your strengths and weaknesses are. If not, it's definitely something worth looking into in yourself. You should already have a pretty good idea of at least what you like to do and what you don't like to do, so that way you can know, like, why would I apply for a position or a job that I know I wouldn't like long term? You know, don't do that to yourself. Yeah, even if pay is good, you're not going to be happy. It's going to be miserable, and you might not even keep the job because your performance is going to go down and you're not going to be happy. It's going to be a waste of your time and their time. So you already know your strengths. Now you also know your weaknesses, you know, and coming at it from this point of view, since you've already done your research previously, and you know, one of the interview questions might be like, what are your greatest weakness, or some variety of that type of question. I don't want you to look at it as a weakness. I want you to realize that it can be morphed into a strength. And let me explain. The fact that you are consciously aware of what you're weak at or what you lack in, you should use that and apply it in a sense that, okay, I know I'm weak in this field, this field, this field, but I'm aware of my weakness, and I know people who are strong in this field, this field, and this field. So I know who to take my problems to if I need help in this particular area. Get others that are stronger in that area where maybe that's their strength, but it's your weakness. Maybe it could be like communications, you know, talking to people. Maybe it's customer service. Maybe it's hard labor. So every job is going to have somebody that's their strength, you know? And even though you can do it, if it's not your strength, if it's your weakness, try your best to find ways to outsource that to people that it is their strength. So thus turning your weakness into a strength, because if you don't even know it's a weakness, you can't help it. You can't help yourself if you don't even know what's wrong, you know? So in that sense, make sure to let your future employer know that, yes, these are my weaknesses, but it's okay, guys. Look, I know you're already about to jump on me about my weaknesses because that's a skill you need, but look, I also know ways to go around it. And it's similar to being like, I guess like a handicap, you know? Just because someone is handicapped doesn't mean they can't do things that normal people can do. They just got to go about it a different way. Maybe they got to take a few more steps than someone else that can do it normally. So in the same context, yes, don't look at your weaknesses as a handicap. There are ways to go about it. There are people that's their strength. Why not utilize them? You know, help them help you, you know? You know, there's a story out there about Henry Ford. Somebody was doing some mean publicity about him back in the days, and they were pretty much trying to say that he was stupid, you know, like dumb. And when they took this to court, because I guess he was battling it in court, and they ended up trying to quiz him. They were quizzing him on all sorts of things going on around the world, and some of them he didn't know the answers to. So the lawyers were essentially trying to prove that he is stupid. So the publications that they said about him being stupid are technically not wrong. So thus he has no reason to sue. I think it was something like that. Regardless, the point is that Henry Ford finally made a statement, and he said, "At my desk, I pretty much have a row of buttons. At any given time, I should hit one of those buttons, and there is somebody out there that will come at my beck and call and find the solution that I need." So sometimes it isn't just about being weak in a certain area. It's knowing how to use your strengths and use other people's strengths to leverage where you're weak at. So yeah, you might not know everything, but guess what? You might know who does know, you know, and you can use that as your strength. Same kind of thing. You might not know where to find this job at. You might not know, you know it's out there, but you don't know how to get to it. But you might know somebody who does, or you might know somebody who knows somebody who might have the dream job that you're looking for. Next, you're going to want to explain your why. You want to keep this in the back of your mind at all times to kind of give you a good, solid guidance as you're doing your interview process and as you're applying for a new job. Your why is basically going to let them know why you. Why should they pick you? And why did you pick them? You want to let them know that this isn't just some impulse decision, that you're not just fell on hard times and you need the money so bad, so that's why you're applying, and so you're not going to be a good fit for them long term, or they're not going to be a good fit for you long term, because the minute you get hired, you're just going to get a couple checks and be looking out for the next job opportunity in a couple months. You don't want that. You want to let them know the why. The why being, like I just said, why you. And you want to let them know how you use good sound reasoning. Maybe it was researching their company, maybe it was talking to other people who are employees, maybe it was talking to other people online who are in a similar field, watching YouTube videos about this certain job position, letting them know that you've done your background research. This is not just something you stumbled across, this is something that you actually do want to pursue, and you want to let them know in such a way that it convinces them. And you can probably do something like that, just basically, you could probably do that repeating some of the stuff you've seen online. Let them know that you actually do know a little bit of background in their industry. Let them know certain things that only a person who's researched this position would know. Next, you're gonna wanna show some enthusiasm. And that's funny that I say that, because I say show enthusiasm and here I am talking all monotone and tired and sick. Anyways, show some enthusiasm. You're gonna let them know that you want this bad. You want it more than anyone else does. You're gonna dress to impress. You're gonna spew off some stuff that you've discovered while you were researching this company from their website or from news articles and whatnot. You're gonna show some of these people who work there that are looking to hire you that you might even know some stuff about their company that they don't even know about. They're like, whoa, how'd you get a hold of that knowledge? You know, like, who told you that? You need to come in with the idea that you are going to get hired. You need to have that instilled in your mind. And you need to walk away also knowing that even if they don't hire you, someone else will hire you. And you need to make sure that that impression is what you're giving off. Because let me tell you from personal experience, there have been times where I went in to apply for a job, and when I left, I didn't feel like it was the right fit for me, and I told them no, and then they just kept coming back asking me for more and more and more. They kept trying to throw in extra bonus things that would, you know, help me make up my mind to switch over to them. Ultimately, I never did, but I had to go in there with the mindset that if you don't hire me, someone else will, and I'm not gonna stop until I get exactly what I want out of a position. And so that's what I want you to go in there and do. You got to be able to walk away, even if you do need the money, even if you do need the job. You got to have the confidence to walk in there, let them know why you're the best fit. And if you're not hired, you got to know that that's their loss and not yours. Next up, you're going to want to show that you put in effort, that you have effort, that you put in effort. And so that's going to come in the form of some collateral. What type of collateral am I talking about? I'm talking about like knowledge collateral. So when you go into these places during your interview process or whatnot, even on your resume, you can throw this stuff on your resume too. You're gonna wanna come in and show maybe a list of all the different books you've read. It doesn't have to be exactly like in the field, but maybe you've read some books on like leadership. You've read some books on, you know, emotional management. You've read some books on whatever, sales and marketing and stuff. You're gonna wanna bring in all this material that you have. Any classes or schooling that you may have taken, any certifications that you may have. It doesn't have to be in this field. They could be certifications in other fields, any classes you've taken in other fields. Remember, you can still always tie in the dots to make them resonate with the current position you're applying for. But what you're really trying to prove here is that you've put in effort. You put in effort in your past positions, and you want to show them that you're going to put in effort in the current position that you're applying for. You want to show them that you are committed and that you do invest your time to learn this position, and you're going to learn this position the same way that you've learned all the other positions that you've invested your time into as well. And if you show them a list of books and things like that that you've done on your own time, that's gonna lead you miles ahead of other people. You know, who else puts in that type of effort for no reason? That's like just regular boring old homework to most people. I'm not getting paid for reading books at home that are gonna help me grow. Why would anyone do that? But I promise you, the person that does that is going to be the person that's going to be picked over someone else. Okay, so another one is You want to stay open to getting your foot in the door. Sometimes it's not going to work out in the picture perfect way you want it to work out in. Sometimes you will have to take a pay cut. Sometimes you will go into a rank lower than what you're working at right now. Sometimes you're going to lose your seniority, but it may be worth it. That in combination with the experience that you're going to get at this new job, even though you took a pay cut, even though you ranked down and you lost seniority, the experience you get is going to be worth more than everything else anyway. In the event that you do get hired and you're starting at the bottom again, which is most likely going to happen, let's face it, that experience cannot be undone. As soon as that process starts, learn everything you can at that new job. Get all the experience you need. Of course, ask for your raises, ask for promotions, do whatever you can. Try to hit the glass ceiling of that company if you can. Once you hit that glass ceiling, if they're not going to allow you to grow any further than that, then you now have that experience under your belt to apply at a new job. And you can let them know that you're going to start looking, or you can keep it secret. That's on you, right? But that experience is never a waste of time. And that investment in your time and knowledge is never a waste of your time, ever. You can translate that to any other field that you go to from here on out. You got your foot in the door, you got the experience. Now you can leave that job to another job if it ever comes to the point where they won't let you move up the way you want to move up. Don't ever settle for anyone trying to keep you down. I know there's a lot of jobs out there sometimes where they don't want to promote you because you're so good at the job you're doing. And if they promoted you, then there wouldn't be someone to fill the spot that you're so good at doing. So it's kind of like, you're ruining my blessings because you want to keep me down. But I don't know, it's kind of weird. So all in the meantime of all of this stuff going on, you're going to want to continue mapping out the dots, connecting the dots for your interviewer. While they're looking through your work history and your resume, they might be thinking of questions to ask you. And during this time is the perfect time for you to start future pacing them to view you or imagine you as the ideal candidate in that position. There's a helicopter or an airplane flying by. You're gonna want to keep connecting the dots, showing how your old job fits in with the new job. You're gonna want to provide some simulations for them so that way they can envision you already in the position. This is actually a very powerful tip. Future pacing people to do the visualizations is a really powerful skill in sales, to have someone already envision having the product and the outcome and the feeling that they're going to get once they have that new product. It's a very powerful skill in sales, but you can apply it also for you because essentially you're selling yourself, you know? Sometimes you may need to ask them. They might not ask you outright sometimes. Sometimes you may need to ask them like, Mr. Interviewer, can you please explain some of the situations that I might find myself in if I were to get hired in this position? And then they'll go on to say like, okay, well, in this position, you might encounter this problem or this certain situation. It's a pretty common thing that happens around here. And that way it'll give you a chance to explain how you would handle that situation. Again, this goes back into letting them see or envision you already in that position. And you're going to want to tailor your response, of course, because you've already done your homework on this. You know exactly what kind of candidate they're looking for. You know the type of mentality they're looking for to hire. And you're going to tailor your response so that way you fit perfectly in the mold that they're looking to hire. And it kind of allows you to show off a little bit and kind of show how you're different from everyone else. And the fact that you actually put yourself in a position to have them ask you that question, to call you out on that, to see how you would handle that, it's going to make them feel a lot safer, knowing that you gave them a good answer to a common problem that they face. It's going to make them feel a little safer hiring you. But yeah, anyway, keep the focus off the past when career changing. Keep it on the future. And I guess that kind of even applies when like dating, right? Keep the focus off the past. You don't want to like completely always talk about your ex. You know, like that's over with. Next up is connect with the interviewer, dude. Like get them to care about you and also care about them. You know, like their butt is on the line if they hire the wrong person. Let them know that you care. Like that you're not out here to sabotage their reputation. You know, nobody wants to be looked at as a fool. And ideally, in the most perfect situation, they would love to be able to go back and say, yeah, every time there's an accomplished employee that something good happens, they can look back and say, yes, I hired them. And that rubs off on them, you know, like you doing a good job rubs off on them. So they look good for their bosses and whatnot. So like get them to empathize with you, and you empathize with them too. It's not all about you. Like they're trying to fill a position for a certain reason. They've got a job to do too. So yeah, don't just focus on the job and the application and the work history and the resume. Of course, all of that is a given. You have to, but try to be an individual. Try to show them that they matter. Try to show them that you matter. Try to bring out a human aspect into it, you know? We're humans, you know? Humans want to help other people out for the most part. So give them something to care about, you know? Be a little more personable. I'm not saying go out there and be a jokester and start, you know, comedy clubbing and stuff, but, you know, maybe kind of, you know, let them know you have a family. Let them know how hard you've been working for them. Let them know, you know, how badly you really want this job. Really put yourself out there. Put yourself in a vulnerable situation, you know? Be vulnerable. I mean, I guess me too. I'm being vulnerable here a little bit. And the last piece of advice I have is prepare well. Like, I want you to go out there, Google and YouTube all the questions, all the most common interview questions that are ever asked, and look up all the different variations of questions of the way they're asked, because it might be the same question but just reworded a different way to try to like you know, stump you. But find out all the questions that might be asked, the most common ones. Rehearse them, get them deep in your mind. You want it second nature. Think about 5 or 10 situational stories from your past experience that you have accomplished. Stories that can help map out the dots for them to help tie your old job into your new job that you want to get into. Memorize those stories and know them by heart. Nothing comes easy. It's a lot of work, but the reward is there if you fight for it. Anyway, I don't know. Hopefully this helps somebody out there. I don't know if I did a good job explaining it or not, but I hope I did. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm horrible at endings, right? I'm just the suckiest at endings. Anyway, I'll let you go.